Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we are going to be covering the two common orc build orders, the opening build orders for playing orc in Warcraft 3. So before we get to it, make sure to hit that subscribe button if the video helped you enjoyed the video, etc. And let's get to it. To start off, this video is geared towards newer players under like 1500 MMR. You're probably not going to learn too much if you're already pretty good at the game. And we will be looking at the two meta opening build orders. This video will be an introduction to the two styles of build order openings, which is kind of your traditional standard one barracks, one grunt, versus a more fast tech where you sacrifice some of your early game for getting that tech out a little bit faster. Now, the build orders that we're going to cover, what I am putting out there is not law. I mean, pro players will deviate here and there, but this is a great place to start. And when you get more comfortable with the build orders, you can shake things up, build a shop at a different time, barracks at a different time, etc. So this is just a guideline. Now, if you're under like 1500 MMR, you're in luck. You want to learn how to play BladeMaster Orc? I got you. So before we get into the actual build orders, how to execute them and timings, I made a couple visuals to help out, which are on the side here and which will be kept up and posted in the description. The good news is when you choose to play the BladeMaster, there is really only a finite number of ways that you can open. There is, as I mentioned, the standard one barracks, one grunt, and sacrificing the barracks to get a tech in just a little bit sooner so that you could transition into a specific mid-game style a bit quicker. If you're just starting out, I would definitely recommend sticking to the standard build order. It is tried and true. It is probably the most efficient way to reliably get your BladeMaster out and tech in a reasonable time. One of the problems, especially at lower MMRs, is that you encounter a lot of cheese, a lot of tower rushes, etc. Basically, with the fast tech route, you are sacrificing just enough early game that leaves you far more susceptible to cheese. If you're feeling a little bit more confident, you've really mastered the standard opening, and you want to try something, a little more aggressive, a little more risque, then you can go for the fast tech route, which is more harass oriented in the early game. You're not going to be creeping as much. You're going to be more focused on delaying their creeping or hurting their economy in some way. Whereas, of course, with the standard opening, you can creep, you can harass if you want, and you just have far less to worry about in terms of getting cheesed. So let's get to it. We're going to look at the standard opening. So to start off, you're going to take one peon and build an altar, put the other 4 peons on gold, and queue up a couple peons. It's important to place the altar closer to the green creep that you are going to be doing first, and leaving one small space to go in and out of your base. Now, as soon as the 6th peon is trained, you're going to make a burrow. That is proper timing to get the burrow and altar out at the same time. And with the next peon that comes out, you're going to make a barracks. So this whole time, you have 4 peons on gold. And as you can see, I've been doing something called power mining, where you manually give the peon a command to go back, and it makes it go a little bit faster. With your next peon that comes out, you're going to go 5 out of 5. Power mining is not super important, but if you know how to do it, you should be doing it at that time. And then you're going to queue up a couple peons to put on wood. So at this point, we have all of our buildings going, and the altar is about to be finished, and we're going to take the altar peon and scout the enemy. It's very important to scout. Queue up the BladeMaster as soon as that burrow is complete. And again, queue up another couple peons. So what's important now is you want to be at 16 out of 21. And you don't want to build another peon at 16 out of 21. And you want to build a shop as soon as you get 30 wood. Now, the reason that you don't keep a peon queued up is because you have exactly 200 gold if you're doing this properly to build a grunt. Once the grunt is built, then you build another peon, and that is perfect timing. Now that the grunt has been queued, the shop is being built, you can build a couple more peons, and you're going to be at 21 out of 21. At about this time, you're scout peon is going to reach the other person's base, and you can see what hero they have when, etc. It's very important to scout. And, you know, at around 2 minutes, your BladeMaster and Grunt are going to come out at the same time, and you're going to do a creep. So on Northern Isles, you're going to do that south or north green creep. And your peons are working hard at getting enough lumber to tech, and you're going to want to be cognizant of hitting 190 lumber to tech. What people do at around this time is they manually tell their peons to return lumber. I kind of failed here. And then you're going to tech. Once you are done with the green camp, you're going to go to your shop and you're going to sell your town portal scroll for those big bucks, buy 2 healing salves and a speed scroll, and you're going to be on your way to harass or creep. For the fast tech build order, we're going to be doing something similar. You're going to take 1 peon and build an altar, try to block off your base a little bit, put your 4 peons on gold, queue up a couple peons. When the 6th peon comes out, you're going to build a burrow. And of course, this time we are skipping the barracks. So the 7th peon will go on gold, and the rest of the peons that you make will go on lumber. By the end of this, you'll have 7 peons on lumber, 1 scout peon, and you'll be teching pretty quickly. So a key thing to note about this build is it's a bit better on certain maps like Terranus Stand, where you're closer to a shop, or there are creeps that are more conducive to just a single BladeMaster creeping, for instance, the rogue wizards in the middle. So right about when the altar finishes, you're going to build a voodoo lounge, and we're still going to scout. Scouting is perhaps even more important in this risky build to know what the opponent is doing, or to know where they are to go and harass them right when the BladeMaster comes out. So right when we're going to build a shop, when that burrow is finished, we're going to queue up the BladeMaster, and this timing allows us to sell our TP scroll and buy healing salves immediately as the BladeMaster comes out. And otherwise, make some peons, put them on lumber. I mess up a little bit here, but don't worry about that. So executing this build order allows you to tech just about when the BladeMaster comes out. In comparison to the standard build order, you're usually able to tech while the BladeMaster is creeping. So it's it's a little bit faster. Again, if you need that teching speed, that's where this comes in handy. And when your BladeMaster comes out, you're gonna have a couple decisions to make. By now, your scout peon should know vaguely what the opponent's race is, and soon their hero, and their build order, and so on. So the BladeMaster is about to come out, and if you execute this build order a little bit more efficiently than I did, then you'll be able to tech pretty much at the same time, but we're, a couple seconds late. And once you hit that tech button, you sell your TP scroll, buy some salves. You're going to want to head to a goblin merchant, buy a circlet and dust if you are playing against Night Elf, and you'll be on your merry way. You can either try to harass their economy, stop them from creeping, creepjack them, or on maps like Terranus Stand, you can go for high-value camps. Now, when you have enough wood, the first thing you're going to want to do after you tech is build a barracks and burrow so that you can get up to speed with your grunts. So there you have it. Those are the 2 predominant build orders for you to get started on. I'm going to do a little bit of wrap up and talk about maybe the pros and cons of each more in depth. But before we get to that, make sure to subscribe. Really helps me, build the channel up and all that. And if you're tuning out, I'll have more pseudo advanced tutorials to come. So I'm of the opinion that the standard opening is just superior to the fast tech opening, unless you're trying some very specific cheese or lame style, in which the fast tech opening does offer some advantages, but it is generally going to be a little more difficult to execute, especially if you're learning the game. And again, let's say you're like 12, 1300 or even lower, you're going to be seeing a lot of people just tower rushing you, throwing their wolves out on you like as soon as possible. And that grunt makes a huge difference in being able to push off early game harass. So as you can see, when we went through both of the build orders, the fast tech lets you tech to tier 2 about like 20 seconds faster. I mean, I wasn't perfect, but let's just say about 20 seconds faster. So that's your trade-off. So if you're going to be doing the fast tech, you're not going to be able to creep as well, since you are not going to have that grunt for a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra tankiness, and you're probably going to want to focus on creep jacking, delaying their creeping rather than creeping yourself, going after creeps that drop very valuable items, such as the wizards that drop circlets and claws. And your game plan is probably going to be harass until you get your mid-game units out, which will probably be something like wyverns. I think that's what's commonly used in the fast tech route. It's a little bit more cheesy, and I mean, again, the standard opening just gives you a lot more room to breathe. It's a lot easier to transition, and it's it's standard. A couple things to note would be, if you're going to do fast tech, I would definitely recommend hitting the staff of TP more often than you might, and checking marketplaces for things like claws. Also, I'm pretty sure I don't really do the fast tech much because I'm not a lamer. I'm not lame. But I think for lower skill brackets, you're definitely going to want to build the barracks after the tech still. Like, don't give up your grunts at all. Like, don't say, I'm going to fast tech, I'm not even going to build any grunts. You can just build it right after you tech, and you'll get a couple grunts out slower. But the reason that's important is to give you some transitional strength. Like, even if you have, like, 1, 2, 3 grunts, you're going to be able to creep normally just a little bit later. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoy. Again, subscribe, all that stuff. The next video that I'll be putting out is for base layout, advice, tips, advanced stuff. I mean, with the BladeMaster build order, I feel like it's a pretty solved equation. So hopefully the graphics help and all that. And yeah, next up we're gonna be looking into more finely how to use your BladeMaster and the better base layout tip. So thank you for watching.